What if I told you the deadliest war in American history wasn't fought against a foreign enemy, but between its own people? A war that divided families, reshaped the nation, and ended slavery, but left behind deep scars still felt today. This is the story of the American Civil War, a battle for the soul of a nation. Let's uncover the events that changed America forever. The American Civil War, 1861 to 1865, was a defining chapter in U.S. history, fought between the Northern Union states and the Southern Confederate states. It was primarily sparked by deep-rooted disagreements over slavery, economics, and states' rights. Here's an in-depth look at the war, from its causes and events to its aftermath. Causes of the war did not begin suddenly but was the result of decades of tension. 1. Slavery. At the heart of the conflict was the institution of slavery. 2. Southern states depended on enslaved labor for their agricultural economies, particularly cotton, while many in the North opposed slavery's expansion into new territories. 3. States' rights versus federal authority. The Southern states believed they had the right to govern themselves, including the ability to maintain slavery, while the federal government sought to limit their powers. 4. Economic disparities. The industrial North and the agrarian South had contrasting economic systems, creating tension over trade, tariffs, and labor. 5. Election of Abraham Lincoln, 1860. Lincoln's election as president was seen by Southern states as a direct threat to slavery, prompting 11 states to secede and form the Confederate States of America. Start of the war. 1. Secession of the South. Following Lincoln's election, South Carolina was the first state to secede in December 1860. 2. By mid-1861, 11 states had left the Union. 3. Fort Sumter, April 12–13, 1861. The war officially began when Confederate forces fired on Fort Sumter in Charleston Harbor, South Carolina. 4. The Union surrendered the fort, rallying the North to action. Key events and battles. 1. First Battle of Bull Run, July 1861. The first major battle, fought in Virginia, showed that the war would be longer and more brutal than initially expected. 2. Antietam, September 1862. This was the bloodiest single day in American history, with over 22,000 casualties. 3. It ended in a tactical stalemate but provided Lincoln the opportunity to issue the Emancipation Proclamation. 4. Emancipation Proclamation, January 1, 1863. This executive order declared all enslaved people in Confederate territories to be free, shifting the war's focus to a fight for abolition. 5. Battle of Gettysburg, July 1863. Often considered the turning point of the war, the Union victory halted Confederate General Robert E. Lee's invasion of the North. 6. Vicksburg Campaign, May to July 1863. The Union gained control of the Mississippi River, splitting the Confederacy in two and crippling its supply lines. 7. Sherman's March to the Sea, 1864. General William T. Sherman led Union forces on a campaign of total war, destroying infrastructure and resources across Georgia to weaken the South's ability to fight. 8. Appomattox Courthouse, April 9, 1865. General Lee surrendered to Union General Ulysses S. Grant, effectively ending the war. How the war was fought. The Civil War introduced several technological and tactical innovations. 1. Weapons. Rifled muskets and artillery made battles deadlier than ever. 2. The use of ironclad ships revolutionized naval warfare. 3. Communication. Telegraphs enabled quick communication between commanders and political leaders. 4. Transportation. Railroads were used to move troops and supplies efficiently. 5. Total war. Sherman's campaign exemplified a strategy of targeting not just armies but also the resources supporting them. The human cost. 1. Casualties. Over 620,000 soldiers died, and countless civilians were affected. 2. Disease and unsanitary conditions claimed more lives than battlefield injuries. 3. Impact on civilians. Families were displaced, economies were shattered, and towns were destroyed. 4. Enslaved people in the South faced newfound freedom but also immense challenges. End of the war and Reconstruction. 1. Surrender. After Lee's surrender in April 1865, other Confederate forces followed suit. 2. Jefferson Davis, the Confederate president, was captured in May. 3. Assassination of Lincoln, April 14, 1865. Just days after the war ended, Abraham Lincoln was assassinated by John Wilkes Booth, shocking the nation. 4. Reconstruction era, 1865 to 1877. The post-war period aimed to rebuild the South and integrate freed slaves into society. 5. The 13th Amendment abolished slavery, but the South resisted change, leading to the rise of segregation and groups like the Ku Klux Klan. Legacy of the Civil War. 1. Abolition of slavery. The war ended slavery in the United States, but the fight for civil rights continued. 2. United Nation. The war solidified federal authority over states, ending the debate over secession. 3. Economic transformation. The North's industrial economy boomed, while the South struggled to recover for decades. 4. Cultural impact. The war inspired countless works of literature, art, and public memory, remaining a key part of American identity. 5. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe and press bell icon for more details.